Hello and welcome to another step-by-step how to tie tutorial video. This is Kelly Gallup's Stacked Blonde. This uses a weedless hook, a rudder hook, needle bend, however you want to shake it. It's kind of a rare hook. For a thread, I am using a white waxed floss thread. I have some Krystal flash tied into the tail. For the rest of the tail, the body and part of the wing, I guess if you want to call it that, is just regular white bucktail. This stuff has been pretty picked through. I also have some white Marabou tied in to give it that extra fluff there on the head. The eyes I am using are just a generic kind of a bedazzle, smaller size stick-on eyes. And with those eyes and the UV resin, I believe I achieve a pretty dramatic looking head. So we will get that fly out and we will put our weedless rudder bend hook in there. And like all good flies, they begin but with just a single wrap of thread. And we will continue on and lock down our hook. Alright, I'm going to tie in the Krystal flash first. And I want to get this on either side, full length of the body. So I'm just going to take a couple of turns and then I'll just fold this over and get this on the far side of the hook, and we can proceed to lock this in and get that Krystal flash encapsulated around that entire shank of the hook instead of just being on top. Really fills that area in quite well. Lock that down nice and good, and we will kind of even off the long ones. I don't like to keep everything super trimmed exactly the same. Alright, we'll tie in our first bit of tail material. This is stacked white bucktail once again. And I'm going to take this out just past the Krystal flash. And I'm just going to go ahead and get the rest of this out of the way. I'm going to tie it up front and run the thread all the way back, locking it down all the way. Nice tight wraps. There we have it. We'll take our thread forward, really bind that down nice and tight. And we'll just lay a little bit of a thread base down there just so we don't have any bare hook. We're going to cover the bend of this a little bit. We're going to tie in our second piece of bucktail. I'm going to run my thread all the way down to the bottom. Once again, this is cleaned and stacked bucktail. And for this, I'm going to run it about halfway. There we go. Once again, I'm just going to go ahead and trim this, get out of the way. And approach this at an angle. We're going to lock this down. Work this up that little bend in that hook. Excellent. Alright, now at this point I am going to rotate my hook and I'm going to tie in the rest of this on the top side, which is how this fly should fish, hook side up. And for this piece of bucktail, I'm going to just take it just into the bend of that hook. I don't want too many fibers going too deep into that. Again, trim off what I'm not using, just get it out of the way. And lock it down. It's that easy. Alright, now for the rest of the body, once again I'm using a white Marabou feather. Nice kind of long stringy give that a little bit of a trim, and we'll lock this feather down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie it in back here, and I'm going to palmer it forward all the way to the thread, and then I give it a fold back. And that will help me get a little bit of extra size on the head up front. So once again, we'll just do nice close wraps, get those fibers all pointing towards the back side as best as you can. And it's going to look kind of wild at first, but once you take a few wraps back towards the bend, everything kind of gets tamed down just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and just use this whole feather up. Use every last little bit out of it as I can. I think that'll work. Take a couple locking wraps. And I'm not even going to bother breaking or clipping that off. It's a nice little tip on there. Hold all these fibers back and lock them in a little bit. And we can build our head up front now, or at least the base of this head. Because I'm going to come in, I'm going to stick on some eyes. And throw some UV epoxy on there. We'll do a quick whip finish. Beautiful, starting to shape up. Alright, once again, these little stick-on eyes, there's nothing fancy or special about them. I'm really counting on the UV finish to hold it in place. It has just a little sticker on the back, which is just enough to hold it in place while I apply the UV resin. And we'll get those nice and even. I think that'll work. And this does ride hook side up, I believe. And I'm going to do this head in a few different steps, a couple different layers. Take my time, give it a couple zaps in between coats, and really build that up. This is what you do if you don't have the thick. If you have the thin, you can do a fairly decent job just kind of doing it layer by layer. Give it a quick setup in between each event. Get a little on the bottom side. Alright, one last turn on this. We should have it. Encapsulate the whole eye. And this will yield a nice smooth finish. And there you have it. Oh, we'll go ahead and flip our vise over. Just get it in a nice presentation. There we go. That is Kelly Gallup's Stacked Blonde on a weedless hook. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe. Happy tying, and definitely with this one, tight lines.